been studying, Abraham and Sarah. It used the word illegitimate promise, and it was talking about the maidservant or whatever that, the wife of Sarah was like, "Hey, just take her. God's taking," you know, it had been
Right,
25 years from when he was promised until it actually came to happen, and
right.
they were growing impatient, but the numbers that God promised him, it started
Mm,
with 1 child.
right.
It started with 1.
So huge, man.
Like,
It's that one.
that's that in itself is like a beacon of hope that and even Jesus himself, he leaves the 99 for the 1. The
One.
1,
Yeah,
over and over again in the word of God, it talks about 1 being the most important because that 1 can change thousands or millions.
right.
And, I've when I was youth pastor, which was, like, 2 months ago, I was guilty of you ask someone at youth camp, you cross paths with the other youth pastors, and you're like, "So how's your youth group doing?" "Oh, we got about 30 or 40," and it's
Right,
automatically a number count
right.
instead of, so coming from a smaller church, I got, 10 to 15, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've got about 15," and you add maybe a couple on the back end of the numbers, to
Right, right, but and it kinda leaves you and that's one thing that I've quit doing to my brothers because it's like, we should not make another brother feel as if his ministry is not as significant as ours based on numbers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the number. It doesn't matter. I need quality, and that's what we have to bring to the table every single day because, geographically, your area should be bringing in a lot more kids than my area,
Yeah.
and that is what it is. We just have to make sure we're planting the right seeds at the right time every week,
Uh,
and that's the important part.
yeah, and making sure that we're doing something of substance instead of
Yep,
just worrying about numbers and putting on a show or giving away free stuff and all this other stuff because we have a bunch of converts, but we have no true conversions.
yeah. That's what has to change. People ask, how because our youth group grew so fast. It's because I had our youth pray for a while, and then they wrote letters. And for a week, they went out and they searched for someone that to pray for, and then they wrote a letter to them. Could be a complete stranger, and they wrote what they felt God spoke to them to give to them, and then a wristband. And dude, I'm telling you, when they did that, the stories we heard were crazy. Kids breaking down at their lockers crying,
Really?
like God just moving. And then those same kids that they wrote those letters to showed up the next week, and man, they just bought in, and they started inviting their friends, and God just started doing something really cool.
Because they were showing that there was not an agenda.